let's do this thing a little bit fast because the mic was shit last time and I want to finish this properly. So let's go with this video. I'll keep it short because last time I rambled on a bit. That was unnecessary. What are we witnessing? We're witnessing an increasingly conservative youth and increasingly short-term thinking. So, unlike a lot of people might have felt that the younger generation, with better education, with better prospects, with better outlook in life, will become perhaps more looking forward to the future and will have a better life. This thing we all understand what a good life is. So, uh, unfortunately, it's not going to happen. And it was naive and unrealistic to expect it to happen, especially with the parents being in a certain way, and the grandparents. And society is a self-sustaining kind of thing, and it is unreasonable. Okay, so that's about it. Uh, Increasingly short-term thinking. So the thing is, currently, a lot of the countries are having some economic struggles and some kind of this thing. They are increasingly resorting to populism to secure power in the government, and combined with the conservatism of the youth, and of course, the adults are generally skew conservative anyway. So combined with this populism and this thing, it leads to a cycle of not thinking at all about the future, climate change, probably not at all for the focus, for example, and other things like that. So uh, this is because of mm, this is because that people are just not they the old culture and whatever it is which people are this thing, it does not work. It does not guarantee uh, happiness or prosperity for that matter. These are things which are outside, but the people cling on to it, and it'll only and since they cling on to it, it'll only grow as a result. It feeds itself. So and the result is growing reckless disregard for human rights, accompanied by jingoistic behavior. So when your situation's not that good, you're not that, then it's no longer good times. So now you have to seek for the stability, mm, for the old reliable, and the old reliable has always been the gun or the spear or whatever. So this is what if you see, for example, the in America, Donald Trump, he is increasingly just using uh, threats of force to establish this thing. Now, of course, America has the preeminent military in the whole world, but it is never quite so belligerent, you could say, in its, if not in its actions, but definitely in its commander in chief's words, you could say. So yeah, and this is applicable everywhere around the for all the countries actually. In Russia, they went took a step further than that, and so on and so forth. It's going to be like this. When the times are good, people may be more, you know, open and this thing. But when times are bad, they are much more um, going to go for things like war. They're going to support things like war. They're going to be like, you know, treating criminals and all these kind of things very badly. And very, no much, you could say, a more self-centered attitude, you could say, in regards to the general public and stuff like that. So that's definitely there. Okay, so and you might say, well, a growing reckless disregard for human rights and liberties accompanied by jingoistic behavior. Well, isn't that somewhat trending towards fascism? And you are right, it is kind of doing so. Um, Currently, the jingoistic behavior is more is not displayed more because of inability rather than because of some abstinence or some value which is there. Anyway, so now we must ask why is the right wing so popular? Why is the I, right wing now is a very nebulous term. Okay, I'm not going to don't focus too much on the words which I use per se because it means different things everywhere. But there is a certain underlying chord among them, and it is about preserving the status quo. And the status quo tends to have been, the rich people will be remaining richer, and they would be avoiding the law, and the usual social inequalities would be preserved, and so on and so forth. Uh, so uh, one does not want to ascribe, perhaps, to all people who believe in conservative values such things, but the more extreme amongst them certainly do believe in these things. And they are winning because, as we see, um, over time, the right wing leaders have become more and more blasé to the point that what is now commonplace today would have been unthinkable 30 years ago. So yes, it's important to sit up and take notice of all these things. And so, why do they win? Okay, so the first thing is they're all really long. It's a long horizon. They have a narrow focus over a long horizon. So if you see the RSS, it's 100. It's about 100 years old now, maybe, and it is the single reason behind BJP's continuing success. I mean, there are other reasons, but it has always been powerful because it has a lot of motivated and ideologically cohesive people to push its, to promote it. Okay. And second thing is um, abortion in the United Stats. For about 60 years, the Supreme Court judgment of some kind was stopping was making abortion legal in the United States. But in but they persevered, and then they changed the Supreme Court composition so that they could remove it. So that implies a certain longevity in thinking, which is important. We must get that, and that is why I am proposing the next thing. This is my uh, this is my creation. I do not have any great expectations for it. I do not. Please do not put into it things which are not this thing. Like it's extremely. You know, you could think of it as nearly useless. The Blinding Sight Society, and inspired by this verse in the poem, "Do not go gentle into that good night." Um, and yeah, I think it resonates with me quite a lot. And the main thing which I would this thing is that blinding sight is about maintaining clarity of vision and still retaining a sense of purpose even in the futility of ultimately achieving goals. Yeah. And one of my main thing is this is not to become this is it is unlikely it would ever become a popular movement or anything like that. My YouTube channel has zero viewers, and I mean it's unlikely to increase. Whatever. I'm not going to go into why exactly it's not really realistic, and I'm happy that with that. I'm actually rather happy that it would be that way because I don't. It's mine, right? So it's nice that it's in my hands for a long time. Uh, so what is the values? What would you say about the values of Blinding Sight Society? So the first thing is, of course, having a clear vision of all these things, having clear vision, and persevering in a small way. There's no requirement to be dramatic, to be um, to overexert or something. It's not going to matter. Today's things are just like a ripple on the fabric of this society. It's nothing. It has to go on for years, for decades, for centuries, and we want to take that kind of long view. I want to take that kind of long view with this. And hopefully, if it has results in even 75 years, I'd be very happy about it, even though I'd be dead. So that. So now the main rule, the main, I have various values which I don't want to expound on in this video, but no doubt you will find it. I'm not going to write a manifesto. You'll find it from my YouTube channel, among other things. So the main thing is that it has to have distinct values, which I believe in. And if you join, it must be because you believe it yourself and fully and uncompromisingly, um, without any hesitation on your part. And you don't need to join. You can just understand that here there is this person here when screen can fall. Or I go by other names, of course. And he's doing this thing. It seems a little bit laughable, but there it is. Okay. So I would like to quote something from Treebeard in Lord of the Rings, and he says, "We might do some things together. I don't know about sides. I go my own way, but your way may go along with mine for a while." And that's an important thing. So I'm not going to. Just because I share some viewpoints with some amounts of people, it doesn't mean that lumped in with them and I have to run defense for all those things and stuff like that. I refuse to, because it just um, it leads to a certain kind of reaction. Like, people keep fighting and arguing about it. It's not even I won't say it's not my concern. I am concerned, but I'm not interested. It's not my fight to fight per se. Okay. So even if it is, I'm not interested in doing it in the manner dictated by others, which is on this YouTube channel going on, um, giving videos day and night, countering people and pushing an agenda, which I may actually do that. I am only human. I may succumb to that. I'm an argumentative person, and I may succumb to that for a short while. But you should remember that it's not the goal. And you can even remind me if you actually see my videos, which you won't. But yeah, and mm, this is not only going to be only about politics and stuff like that. I do have a lot of things which I like to do aside from that, and this is just my space and my this thing. And Blinding Side Society is part of an extension of that space. So also, if it's like, oh, be a BS society or whatever, well, if you have Blinding Sight, you'll be able to see past the BS. So anyway, so yeah, and I'd like to end with this quote. You can read it on your own, and I'm shutting down the video. Thanks. Have fun. Bye. I really hope the mic was good this time. If it wasn't, I'll still